We are committed to working with state and local leaders to help secure our schools and tackle the difficult issue of mental health.
Mental health solutions are not going to fully stop gun violence. We need stronger gun violence prevention in background checks.
We have not done a very good job of making sure that people that have mental reasons for not being able to handle a gun, getting their name into the FBI files, and we need to concentrate on that.
I'd rather pass gun safety legislation than win the election.
We're going to find out what happened here, and what we're going to do is we're going to have a real conversation about how we're going to stop it.
A lot of talk about action today after that horrible shooting in Florida yesterday, 17 killed. But what is real and what could potentially happen in the building behind us? Let's bring in our panel. Fox News senior judicial analyst, Judge Andrew Napolitano. Jonah Goldberg, senior editor at National Review. A.B. Stoddard, associate editor at Real Clear Politics and host of No Labels Radio on Sirius XM. And Jonathan Swan, national political reporter for Axios. A.B., I'll start with you. What is real? You know, Nancy Pelosi says she'd rather lose the election and pass something. But what's possible in this environment?
Oh, I don't know what's possible because we've been here before. They didn't even get bump stocks legislation out after the NRA supported it last summer. We're not looking at a real opportunity here. Both sides continue to dig in. If you want to actually change this, you have to actually take away the weaponry with the ability to kill so many people so quickly. That infringes on one constitutional right. If you want to stop, sort of get in early and screen social media, you're infringing where people are describing these feelings and these plans and intentions with photographs and everything. You're taking away their constitutional expression of free speech.
We hear what the president says, but behind the scenes, what's the administration thinking? Is there a thinking about a policy push, do you think?
Well, one advisor said to me that this is, theoretically a Nixon to China opportunity. Trump is probably the only guy who could, because he's so solid on this issue. The NRA supports him. He could actually go there. But I don't think Trump wants to go to China. This is an issue where he actually instinctively understands. He said it in speeches. He says, Common Core bad, Second Amendment good. And this is something that he has internalized. He's seen it on the campaign trail. He understands it. And there was nobody who supported him more strongly during the campaign than the NRA. So I don't see Trump acting against the NRA's interests on this issue.
Here is the president on making schools safer.
Later this month, I will be meeting with the nation's governors and attorney generals. We're making our schools and our children safer will be our top priority. It is not enough to simply take actions that make us feel like we are making a difference. We must actually make that difference.
Jonah?
Yeah, I didn't get the audio on the first half, but I think he's right. And I should also say, I agree with AB that we are in a political stalemate. And just the second this news broke, I think everybody who has to talk about these things professionally, just their soul just got weighted down just at the prospect of the same arguments on both sides, which I think are valid arguments and important arguments and all the rest. But I do think because if there is a stalemate in the political system, that doesn't mean that the rest of society can't adjust to these things. There can be sort of an Israeli-style hardening of these schools. There are different tactics that people can take. I agree with AB that if the government gets involved in using AI or something to monitor comments on the web, that gets into serious First Amendment issues, and we'll have him set his hair on fire. But
pointing to the judge next door.
There are. This guy was saying, he actually said in a YouTube comment section, I'm going to be a professional school shooter.
Right.
That is a red flag, and it was sent to the FBI.
So let's play that special agent talking about what happened there with the FBI.
In 2017, the FBI received information about a comment made on a YouTube channel. The comment simply said, I'm going to be a professional school shooter. No other information was included with that comment, which would indicate a time, location, or the true identity of the person who made the comment. The FBI conducted database reviews, checks, but was unable to further identify the person who actually made the comment. We do not know if it's the same person.
Judge.
I essentially agree with everything my colleagues have said, and my heart sank knowing that I was going to have to talk about this because it's such a tragedy. And I like the Israeli model. The school doors are locked, and 2 or 3 of the teachers are trained to carry. You don't know which teachers they are. They do not carry openly. They carry silently and in a hidden way. And how many school killings are there in Israel? None. That all can be done by the Florida legislature. It does not require the Congress. Congress can't do anything. Congress can't pass a budget. Congress can't agree on DACA. We're going to talk about that in a little while. The president, I agree with Jonathan, is very much wedded to the NRA, as is more than half the House of Representatives. That's a non-starter. And there's this thing called the Second Amendment, which they've all taken an oath to uphold, and the Supreme Court has interpreted it as it has in a very pro-individual rights way.
Is the mental health push, you know, that talking about this, something that they can get done with something else and at least around the edges try to attack it?
Well, they've already passed some legislation. I think Paul Ryan pointed that out, the 21st Century Cures Act that touches on mental health issues. I don't know, because you're going to have the left saying this is just a smokescreen for the real issue, which is background checks. Everyone retreats to their camps immediately. And as AB was saying, it's very hard to see where that common ground is.
Look at this deal. He gets the AR-15 legally. He buys it legally. He passes the background check. I mean, something happened.
And that is why the gun control side will argue that the background checks are not restrictive enough, that you are still permitted to buy a firearm when you know,
have been expelled from,
had problems, and that they would argue that if you can't drink alcohol, why are you carrying an AR-15 around at age 18?
Just one point. I know the NRA becomes like the shorthand in these conversations, but the NRA, you know, if you listen to some people on some other networks, they talk about how all these politicians are owned by the NRA. You know, we talk about how Donald Trump is beholden to the NRA. The NRA actually doesn't give that much money into politics compared to a lot of other institutions. Their effectiveness is that they are really, and I'm a critic of some of the things the NRA does, but their effectiveness is that they're actually organizing and communicating with actual voters, and that's what makes them so effective.
I mean, if you poll in these states, these swing states, it's through the roof. I mean, that's not NRA. That's
not being owned by the NRA. That's being beholden to the voters who get you elected.
I gotta say that suggesting that this is a mental health issue is a diversion. It's an issue of not enough superior firepower to stop these killers. If he's crazy, he's going to find a way to kill. If he's rational and he wants to kill, he's going to find a way to kill.
There are 300 million guns.
Right.
Except in schools.
One White House.
Everybody's a sitting duck.
I was talking to a senior White House official today about this, and they said, what are we going to do? Are we going to, I mean, there's, 320 million guns in this country. Are we going to do what my country did and try and buy them all back? I mean, it's not realistic. So I don't see this heading in a gun control direction.